Willkommen. My name is Sean Huggins and this is React with Hugs. Check out the new vlog linked in the description. Also check out Issa working in the reflection, working hard. If you hear mouse clicks and stuff, that's her working hard. All right, let's take a look at today's comment of the day. So today's comment of the day comes from Sheraton LP and they say, Geiles Video, weiter so. Is that how you say that? Geiles Video, weiter so. Sheraton LP, thank you for the nice comment. And yeah, I have no plan of stopping the reaction channel anytime soon. So I hope that you guys enjoy because there's going to be a lot more videos to come. Hey, quiet on set. Working hard. All right, let's hop into today's reaction. So today we have a much anticipated video. You guys have been requesting it in the comment section a bunch, and here it is: how anyone, including you, can read German. Hopefully I am included in this statistic, we will see, but I'm gonna see what's the deal with learning how to read German, because that should be pretty useful being that I live in Germany. So los geht's.
This video is sponsored by Squarespace. This one's for lovers of English as much as lovers of German.
Okay.
German is hard. Learning it means studying an array of rules, mastering 3 grammatical genders, and knowing whether you're using the nominative, accusative, genitive, or dative.
Oh my god, PTSD.
But in this video, we're ignoring all of that. I'm going to give you some simple tricks that are going to help your chances of understanding the German words written in front of you, whether they're on a billboard, a menu, or in a movie. By the end, we'll be able to decipher this gibberish to the untrained eye into something that any English speaker will be able to understand.
Okay.
No prior German knowledge required. Even if you don't want to learn German, keep watching though, because the reasons why these tricks work tell us a lot about our own language. German and English have history. Los geht's. Let's go.
Los geht's.
So let's get that mystery document back up. The key to decoding this is mainly going to...
Can I read this? Tagesmenü, the day's menu. Something with carrot soup and bread. Kalbschnitzel mit Pfeffersauce, some sort of schnitzel with pepper sauce, Apfelkuchen, apple cake, coffee oder Wasser, coffee or water. Guten Appetit, have a nice meal. Okay, so I can read a good amount of this, but not all of it.
Lie in swapping letters in and out to make these words look more like English. I go into exactly why it's possible and what it's got to do with all of these guys later, but the key point is that English and German are part of the same language family. They share a common ancestor that they both developed from, and by retracing that development, you can find consistencies in how they differ. So for example, where English developed a th sound in certain words, German went off in a slightly different direction and ended up with a d sound instead. So where English has 3, German has 3.
Hun, can you read this for me? The thing at the top there?
The apple?
Huh?
The apple?
Say it loud.
The apple?
One more time.
The apple?
The apple. I just learned that in English it's the, and in German it's duh. We swap TH and D in the different languages.
So how do you pronounce it?
The apple.
And what did I say?
The apple.
The apple.
Yeah, see, we switch it.
The.
There it is. Very good. Next time, don't spit on my screen. Okay?
English has thunder. German has Donner.
Thunder and Donner. Donner.
Donno.
Not Dörner.
Donno.
Not Dörner. Donner.
Ding is German ding, and where
Thing and ding. Are you hearing all these examples? Isn't this fascinating?
English has the, German has seemingly endless numbers of words of various genders and cases, all of which basically mean the and begin with D. While we're here, actually, German has du and dein, which are two words that have the same ancestry as the age-old English words thou and thine. So
Whoa.
there's our first trick. Swapping the D in a German word for TH can very often get you closer to the English equivalent. Now, linguistically speaking, the D sound is very similar to the T sound. The processes in our mouths to produce these sounds are extremely similar. Just a tiny tweak makes a T, a D. And that's why you can also often swap a German T sound with TH as well, particularly in the middle or at the end of words like Mutter, which is mother, and Wert, which is worth. This similarity between T and D sounds also opens up another letter swap opportunity, this time between the two languages. German T's can often be swapped for English D's. Take a look at these pairs. Dream, daughter, and dear all have German equivalents beginning with T.
Tier is animal.
Tier is actually the German word for animal, but that is precisely what deer originally meant in English before we decided to make it mean one animal in particular. In fact, the Dutch word for animal is still deer. Dutch very often provides a satisfying midpoint between German and English.
Wow. Did you know that Dutch is a lot of the times like a middle ground between English and German? See, we're learning together today. You're working and so am I, and we're both learning together.
A bit like it does geographically, I suppose. Now back to German. The D-swap works elsewhere in some words too. Check out under and Lieder becoming unter and Leiter. Incidentally, Leiter also means ladder. It's all D's and T's again.
Leiter. Leiter is ladder. How do you say unfortunately?
Leider.
Oh, with a D. Leider nicht.
Throwing T's around, that reminds me of another good swap. This time, instead of taking the T's out, we're going to slip them in the place of the S sound made by either one or two S's. Check out how neatly German Wasser becomes English water. The German word for what is was, and if you apply two of our tricks to German das, you get its English equivalent, that. And that, incidentally, in Old English, like das does in German, was the neuter version of the. So it works then as well. And another bonus fact, there are actually some German dialects that use that and dat with a T at the end instead of an S, as does our friend from the Low Countries, Dutch. Ooh, and let's bring in that most Germanic of characters, this fat, wiggly fellow, the SZ. Although its name literally means SZ or SZ, it actually replaces a double S. So if you see it, sub in a double S, then try swapping it with a T. For example, German Fuss becomes English foot, with a bit of imagination applied to the vowels. Now let's fling some more T's around, because adding a T can also help us solve all of these words. By subbing it in for the ts sound, usually expressed in German with a Z, you can get much closer to the English two, this time the number, and tongue. And there are plenty of others. Right, more of these to come, but I realise it's a lot to take in with all of these consonants flying around. I've become somewhat consonant incontinent, haven't I? So let's take a break to understand why these tricks work when they do, which I admit is not 100% of the time, but the hit rate is really good. So earlier I said our translation tricks had something to do with all of these guys. Well, what did I mean? Well, what do Rapunzel, Hansel and Gretel, Little Red Riding Hood and others have in common? The answer is that they're all fairy tales featured in the collections of Germany's famous Brothers Grimm, Wilhelm and Jakob. By the way, brother is another word that our tricks work on, because you can just swap the D in the middle of Bruder in German for a TH and you basically get brother. Anyway, Jakob here is our hero, because as well as working with seinem Bruder to bring together and reimagine European fairy tales, he was also a prolific linguist. So I mentioned earlier how English and German are from the same language family, the Germanic languages. In fact, more specifically, they're both Western Germanic languages. And Jakob Grimm was one of the driving forces behind an ingenious theory about how Germanic languages developed together, known as Grimm's Law. Long, long ago,
Whoa.
probably in the first millennium BC, the Germanic languages went through a consonant shift that moved their consonant sounds away from those of Proto-Indo-European. That's the ancient ancestor Germanic languages share with other language
above
families
my pay
like the
grade right
Romance
now.
languages, the Celtic languages, Slavic languages, and others
I
like
need to be taking
Sanskrit,
notes.
for example. But the language that became modern High German, which is the most widely spoken form of German and the one we're talking about, went through an extra consonant shift that other Germanic languages, like English, did not. That left German with different consonant sounds to English, but those differences are remarkably consistent. And that's why we can often swap them in and out and get from one language to the other. So now you know the theory, let's get on to some more tricks.
Okay.
Another way that English and German diverged from one another is with the sounds p and f. And it means that a lot of f sounds in German written
like
with
pho.
f,
Very
a double
tasty.
f or pf, f, can be swapped with a p to get you closer to the English. For example, German
F's and
Pfeffer
P's.
is English pepper. Pfeifer is pipe. They're both double whammies. But German auf has the same linguistic root as English up, and German Hoffe is English hope. There are so many of these as well.
Whoa.
Schiff and ship, apfel and apple. This one really does work. So remember,
Whoa.
when the English P,
Schiff.
the German's
Ship.
F.
Whoa.
Now the next swap is a piece of
P to
cake,
F.
or in German, ein Stück Kuchen. You can often sub this CH in a German word for a K and get closer to the English, like Kuchen and cake. Also, German machen is English make, although it also means do as well. Suchen is related to English seek, and a German Buch is an English book. And again, actually, once you do these swaps, you basically get to the Dutch version of these words. Check out machen. So Dutch viewers, do feel free to use these cheats with your own
Whoa.
language too. German ich becomes Dutch ik, both of which mean I, and incidentally, Old English for I, as in me, was ich, or something like it. My pronunciation of Old English is always dreadful. Anyway, that's all a Dutch distraction, because I was just going to point out that German words that begin with a K often have an English equivalent beginning with C. Cake is a good example of that one as well.
True.
The German Kuh is a cow, Kreuz is a cross, and lots of others are really obvious, like
that's a good
Kultur
one.
and culture. You're unlikely to struggle with ones like that. Now, any more for any more? Yes. Hanging out at the end of the alphabet are W and Y, and they hold the key to another couple of handy switcheroos you can do. We're going to try swapping them in for German G's. Let's take the German word Tag. So we already know what to do with the T. We're swapping it for a D, aren't we? Remember dream and daughter? And
Yes.
now let's try, as I just suggested, removing
Y.
the G and putting in a Y. We end up with day. What's
Day.
the German for day? It's Tag.
Wow.
Another fascinating historical fact, the Old English word
Hon,
for
are you seeing
day
this?
was this. Notice anything? It has a G
Dude,
at the end,
German is
although it was
almost
actually
like
pronounced more
Old
like
English.
a Y. It was something like,
This is
Die.
crazy.
again, my Old English is dreadful. Anyway, some more G and Y swaps. German Weg is English way. German sagen is English say. And if the Y doesn't work, just give a W a go. German Bogen is English bow. Oh, and I've just thought of another good one, actually. A lot of B's in German are V's in English. Take a look at the German words for live and indeed for liver. Also to
Leber.
give, which is geben.
Geben.
And to stick things together is kleben, which is a relative of English cleave. Cleave is a fascinating word because it can both mean to separate and to put together. Have you ever noticed that? Little doggy. Had enough of these yet? Well, don't make me stop before I get to my triple letter score trick with CHF. CHT.
What?
German words containing CHT often have a similar English word with GHT instead. I give you light, both in the sense of the shiny stuff
Oh.
and the stuff that's easy to lift. I also give you night, 8, and sight, and there are others. Ones to watch out for though. Nicht means not rather than night, and you wouldn't be blamed for thinking a knecht was a knight, but it isn't. A knecht is a servant, but in my defence, the words are related. The English knights saw themselves as servants to their sovereign. Right, or should that be Richt? Actually, a German judge is a Richter, and they oversee the administration of Recht, so I think that one sort of counts. Anyway, right. Those are all the tools you need to be a consonant trickster. So let's put them to the test and bring back this from earlier.
Okay.
And if you hadn't already worked out what this is, it does tell you at the top, Tagesmenü. Let's work our magic on the T and swap it for a D, and the G for a
Today's
Y,
menu.
and we get something very close to day's menu. This is a menu of the day's specials. So, what's for starters? Cremige Karottensuppe. Well,
Cream
already
of carrot soup
we see that
and
we can
bread.
do another G and Y swap in the first word, and we get much closer to the English word creamy. And then we can swap the K at the start of the next word with a C, although I suspect you'd already worked that one out. This is creamy carrot soup. Und is just German for and if you need any help with the last word, swap the T at the end for a D, and you can work out that that's bread. The next word is a bit tricky. You probably already know what a schnitzel is, a delicious breaded cutlet. But what about the start of the word, though? Well, swap the K with a C and the B with a V, and you get calves. Does that look like any English word to you?
Like baby
How
cows?
about calves? Kalb is the German for
Baby cows?
veal, the meat of a young cow.
Oh my
A
gosh.
calf. Mit is just the German for with, and we came across Pfeffer earlier. It's our double whammy P swap, giving us pepper. And sauce is conveniently the English spelling. There is a German word for sauce that is extremely similar, but
Soße.
the English, or rather French spelling, is also used. Onto our dessert. It's apple cake. The PF again swapped for a P gives us an apple, then swapping the K for a C and the CH for a K gets us close enough to cake to work it out, like we did earlier on. And then finally to the drink, you actually have a choice of coffee or water. If we swap the K for a C and that double S for a T, although I'm sure the waiter will let you have both if you ask nicely enough.
Wow.
So that's the full menu, and there we have it. What I've basically given you there is a lesson on Germanic consonant shift, dressed up as some top tips for translating German, but they really do work a lot of the time.
Hun, I can read German now.
Nice.
Just don't quiz me on anything. Wow, that video is really cool. It's actually interesting to see how similar English and German are if you just change a couple little things, or you have a couple little tricks where you switch some things around, and all of a sudden the languages are very, very similar. And yeah, that's pretty interesting to see. Okay, now is the time to test me. Leave all of your German comments in the comment section, and I'm going to see if I can start to read them now because of this video. So leave your German comments in the comments below, and I will be reading all of them. Also, while you're down there, check out the new vlog. It's linked down in the description. Also consider subscribing. We got new videos every single day. Thank you guys so much for being here, and as always, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.